Somewhere in America, right now, there is a county where you can buy 40 acres for the price of a used truck. Build your house on it with your own two hands. No permit, no inspector, no plans approved by anybody, because there is nobody to approve them. And pay less in property tax for the whole year than you pay for 1 month of car insurance. And I know exactly what you just thought, because it's what everybody thinks. That doesn't exist. Not in America, not anymore. Maybe 50 years ago. Anywhere like that either got regulated or it's some YouTube fantasy where the guy never gives you the actual names. Well, they exist. I found them. 5 of them, spread coast to coast, and in the next 20 minutes, I am going to hand you all 5. The actual county names, the actual prices per acre, and the actual rules or lack of them. No teasing, no blurred maps, no link in the description nonsense. County number 1 is in the Ozarks, and it might be the single best land deal left in this country. 10 to 40 acres for less than most people put down on a pickup. And county number 5 is the wildest thing I've seen in 35 years of rural real estate. An entire county bigger than the state of New Jersey that got so tired of being asked about permits, they passed their own ordinance making the freedom official. In writing, I'll show you. And because I don't sell fantasies, I'm also going to give you the honest fine print that every other video on this topic skips, what no taxes really means, the one permit that follows you everywhere in America, and the real reason this window is closing, county by county, year by year. You've stood at that county counter before. The stack of paper, the fees with commas in them, the inspector on your own land. Today, I'm showing you the 5 places where that stack of paper simply does not exist. Stick around. This is the video you were hoping for when you typed the search. My name is Ray Callahan. I spent 35 years as a rural real estate agent, licensed in Tennessee, worked land deals across the South and the Midwest, walked more country properties than I could count if you gave me a week. I'm retired now, which means I don't have a commission riding on anything I tell you, and that makes me the most dangerous kind of man in real estate, one with no reason to lie. What I'm going to give you today is what I used to tell my own family members when they asked where to buy. Let's get into it. But first, 90 seconds on how this actually works, because once you understand the machine, you'll understand exactly why these 5 counties exist and why nobody advertises them. Here's the thing most Americans never learn. There is no federal building code, none. And in about 16 states, there isn't a mandatory statewide residential code either. In those states, the decision falls all the way down to the county, and every county makes its own call. The big counties, the ones with cities and subdivisions and money, they adopt the codes, they hire the inspectors, they build the permit office with the lady behind the glass. But the small ones, the ones with 9,000 people and 1 million acres, a lot of them looked at the cost of running a code enforcement department, looked at their neighbors who'd been building their own barns and houses for 5 generations without killing themselves, and decided not to bother. No philosophy about it. They just never adopted a code. And in America, if the county never adopted a code, then in the unincorporated parts of that county, meaning outside the city limits of any town, there is no permit to apply for because there is nothing to permit against. That's the whole loophole. It's not a trick and it's not a gray area. It's just counties that never signed up. Now, the names. County number 1, and this is the gold standard, the one I'd send my own brother to, Shannon County, Missouri, deep in the Ozarks, down in the southern part of the state. Hills, hardwood forest, spring-fed creeks, some of the cleanest rivers in the country running right through it. Missouri has no statewide residential building code at all. It's local option, and out of Missouri's 114 counties, Only about a dozen ever adopted codes. Shannon County is not one of them, and it's confirmed. No residential building codes, no building permits. The one thing you will deal with is septic, a state-level sanitation approval for your waste system, and that's it. That's the whole bureaucracy. Now the numbers, because I promised numbers. Land in Shannon County runs around $4,000 to $5,000 an acre, and it parcels out beautifully. 10 to 40 acres for somewhere between $16,000 and $40,000. And I mean real land, timber, and water, not desert scrub. Property taxes on a modest homestead down there. A few $100s a year, not a few hundred a month, a year. Rainfall is generous, the growing season is real, the water table is close. This is land that wants you to live on it. If you took every county in this video and asked me where a regular family actually thrives, Shannon County wins, and it isn't close. And her neighbors are nearly as good. Douglas County, Texas County, Ozark County, that whole southern Ozarks block runs on the same freedom. Circle it on your map. County number 2, for a completely different flavor of free. Brewster County, Texas, the biggest county in Texas. Over 6,000 square miles, bigger than Connecticut, with about 9,000 people in it, most of them in the one town of Alpine. Outside city limits, no building codes, no residential permits, and a culture that's been building its own way for 100 years. This is Terlingua country, the ghost town by Big Bend, where people have been raising houses out of stone, adobe, shipping containers, and pure stubbornness for generations, and nobody's ever asked them for a form. Raw desert land out there sells cheap, genuinely cheap, some of the cheapest acreage in America. And Texas sweetens the pot with no state income tax at all. Now the honest part, because Brewster will test you. It's desert, high desert. Water is the whole ball game out there. Most folks haul it or catch it off the roof. Wells are deep and expensive, and summer will make you earn your freedom. This county is for a particular kind of person, the one who looks at a horizon with nothing on it and feels rich. If that's you, there is no freer dirt in America. If you need green grass and a creek, stay in the Ozarks. County number 3, and now we head up the mountain. Delta County, Colorado, western slope of the Rockies, orchard country, the North Fork Valley. And here's what surprises people. Colorado, for all its reputation, has no statewide residential code either, and a batch of its rural counties never adopted one. Delta County has no residential building codes in its unincorporated areas. You can build your house, your barn, your workshop, code-free, in one of the prettiest valleys in the American West, with real towns close by. Delta, Hotchkiss, Paonia, hospitals, feed stores, farmers markets. The trade-off is that beauty costs. Land in Delta County runs meaningfully higher than the Ozarks. This is irrigated orchard and pasture country. And the thing you have to learn before you buy a single acre in Colorado is water rights. Because out west, owning land and owning the water on it are two different pieces of paper, and the second one matters more. Do your homework on the water and Delta County will treat you right. It's where I'd send somebody who wants the freedom and the postcard. County number 4, Idaho County, Idaho. And yes, the county is named after the state, and it's a monster. 8,500 square miles of river canyons and wilderness in the middle of the state, bigger than New Jersey with about 17,000 people in it. No building codes. And here's what makes Idaho County special, the thing I told you about at the start. In 2020, the county commissioners passed Ordinance 67, which officially classified all unincorporated land in the county as multi-use with no restrictions. Think about what that means for a second. Most code-free counties are free by accident. They just never got around to adopting anything, and that can change with one bad election. Idaho County wrote it down on purpose. They looked at the pressure coming from the cities and the state, and they put their answer in an ordinance. That's not a loophole, that's a fence around the loophole. The land itself is Mountain West. Timber, rivers, elk in the yard, winters that mean it. And prices vary wildly from affordable timber acreage to trophy river frontage. But if what you want is the strongest legal footing for a code-free life in America, the county that made freedom official is hard to beat. And county number 5, Greenlee County, Arizona. The one almost nobody has heard of, which is exactly why I like it. Tucked into Arizona's eastern edge against the New Mexico line, copper mining country, fewer than 10,000 people, and it is the only county in the entire state of Arizona with no residential building codes. One county out of 15. Arizona has no statewide code, but every other county adopted their own. Greenlee never did. High desert and mountain country, the Gila wilderness spilling over the state line, land prices that belong to another decade, and a county government small enough that when you call the courthouse, a human answers. It's remote. Your Costco run is a genuine expedition. And like Brewster, you'll want your water plan settled before your building plan. But for a Southwest homestead with nobody looking over your shoulder, Greenlee is the last county standing in Arizona. And that's not a figure of speech. It's literally the last one. All right. Now the honest section, because I told you I don't sell fantasies, and the title of this video has 2 words in it that need straightening out. First, no taxes. Friends, there is no county in the United States with 0 property tax. Doesn't exist, never has. What exists in these counties is property tax so low it stops being a factor in your life. A few $100s a year on a working homestead in the Ozarks, similar stories in Greenlee and rural Idaho because the tax is a percentage of value and rural land assessed without permits and without city services just doesn't generate a bill worth worrying about. Compare that to the $3,000, $5,000, $8,000 a year some of you are paying right now, and it might as well be 0. But I'm not going to stand here and tell you it is 0 because the internet does enough of that already. Second, no permits means no building permits. Almost everywhere in America, including all 5 of these counties, your septic system still needs state or county health approval. That's the one piece of paper that follows you everywhere. It costs a permit fee and a percolation test, and honestly, it's the one rule I'd follow even if it didn't exist, because your well and your neighbor's well are drinking from the same ground. Some counties also require a flood permit if you're building in a mapped floodplain, and if you're on a state highway, your driveway cut needs approval. That's the real list. It's short. It's nothing like the stack behind the glass, but it's not 0, and now you know. And one more piece of grown-up truth, the one nobody in this genre ever says out loud. A house built without permits is free to build and complicated to sell. Banks get nervous about lending on unpermitted structures. Some insurers ask questions, and the buyer pool for a code-free homestead is smaller than for a subdivision colonial. If you're building your forever place, none of that matters. You're building for freedom, not for resale. But go in with your eyes open. This path trades liquidity for liberty. I made a living on liquidity for 35 years. I retired to liberty. I know which one I'd pick again. Now, the part of the title I do stand behind completely before they close the loophole. This is real, and here's the mechanism. No drama needed. Code-free counties are free because not enough people move there to demand rules. Every year more people move, and the pattern repeats itself all over the country. The newcomers arrive for the freedom, then a few of them get burned by a bad builder, or a city family buys next to an owner-built place they don't like the look of, and they show up at the county commission asking for codes, and one Tuesday night vote later, the door closes. The pressure is already organized. Colorado passed statewide legislation a few years back pushing energy codes down into local adoption, and counties across the map have been adopting their first codes year after year. What's free today is not guaranteed free in 5 years. But here's the piece of good news buried in that. When a county adopts codes, existing structures are grandfathered. The cabin that's already standing doesn't need yesterday's permit, which means the entire game is timing. The people who build before the vote keep their freedom for the life of the building. The people who spent 5 years watching videos about it, they get the stack of paper. That's not me pressuring you. That's just how every one of these stories has ended, in county after county my whole career. Let's do the arithmetic quick and dirty because it settles the argument. In a regulated county, permits, plans, engineering, and inspection fees on a modest owner-built home run $15,000 to $50,000 before you drive the first nail, plus months of waiting between inspections, plus building only the way the code book allows, which quietly outlaws half the affordable methods. Your cordwood, your straw bale, your cabin from your own timber. In Shannon County, Missouri, that same start costs you a septic approval. Call it $1,000 to $2,000 all in, with the install being the real cost. And the day you close on the land, you can start building. Land itself, $16,000 to $40,000 for 10 to 40 acres. Add it up, friends. In half these counties, the land plus the freedom costs less than the permits alone cost back home. That's not a loophole. That's a different country hiding inside this one. So here's your homework, and it's one phone call, because I will not be the man who tells you to wire money based on a YouTube video, including mine. Rules change, and every county has its quirks. So before you buy anything anywhere, you call that county's planning office or courthouse and you ask 2 questions, exactly like this. 1, do you have residential building codes or permit requirements in the unincorporated areas of the county? And 2, what approvals do you require? Septic, floodplain, driveway, anything. 5 minutes, and now you know more than 99% of the people watching land videos tonight. While you've got them, be friendly. In small counties, the person on that phone knows everything and everybody, and being pleasant to them is the best land buying tool I ever had. Then check the FEMA flood map for the parcel. Confirm legal access. A deeded easement, not a handshake. And out west, ask about the water before you ask about anything else. And tell me in the comments, what state are you in? What would it cost you in permits to build a garage where you live right now? And would you actually make the jump to one of these 5? I read every comment, and last video the numbers you all posted from your own counties made my eyes water. Somebody in California told me a number for a pergola that was more than my first house. Next time, I'm going one better than cheap land. There are towns in America right now that will give you the land for free. Actual towns, actual free lots, with the catch spelled out in writing. And I'll walk you through which ones are real, which ones are a trap, and exactly how the deals work. If tonight made you look at the map different, that one's going to keep you up. Until then, the land's still out there, the phone call costs nothing, and the window's open today. That's the most honest sentence in this whole video. I'm Ray Callahan. Thanks for riding along.